Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Today we'll discuss India's 41 agriculture biological assets. Applic- India's 41 is applicable to biological assets including animals and plants. Measurement initial at fair value less cost to sell and subsequent at fair value less cost to sell. Not applied to land. India 16. Bearer plant. India 16. Intangible assets related to agricultural activities. India 38. A cow has given birth to a calf. It is an agricultural transformation. Biological transformation means growth, production, regeneration. Example 100 kgs of mangoes are harvested for cold storage of jams and pickles. Cost of mangoes is 50 per kg. Agriculture produce account debit 50 into 100, 5,000. To other income 5,000. Entry at the time of cold storage of jams and pickles. Raw materials inventory account debit 5,000 to agriculture produce 5,000. Recognition conditions. Future economic benefits. Cost can be measured reliably. Fair value. Entity controls the asset. Example: a street dog comes and drinks milk. Can it be recognized as the animal in the balance sheet? The answer is the entity does not control the animal, hence it cannot be recognized in the balance sheet. Example: there is a mango tree in the street and mangoes fall in the plot owned by the owner. Can you recognize the asset in the balance sheet? The entity does not control the asset, hence it cannot be recognized in the balance sheet. Reporting of gains and or losses. A biological asset is purchased for rupees 100 and the same is the fair value. The company has given a brokerage of rupees 10. Answer: initial measurement at fair value less cost to sell 100 minus 10 90. Entry: biological assets account debit 90. Other expenses account debit 10. To bank 100. If on the subsequent measurement the fair value less cost to sell is 95, then biological assets account debit 5 to other income 5. The biological assets is in the above example has given birth to a calf. Then the fair value less cost to sell is 1000. Entry: biological asset account debit 1000 to other income 1000. If the calf dies, then the entry would be loss on derecognition debit 1000 to biological assets 1000. If the dead animal is sold in the slaughterhouse for rupees 100, then bank account debit 100 to other income 100. Government grant for biological asset measured as fair value less cost to sell. For India's 41 and measured at cost uh, for uh, for India's 16. When grant is conditional, recognized in the P&L when the condition is met. When grant is unconditional, recognized in P&L when it becomes receivable. Sun Limited cultivated a huge plot of land. The government offers a grant of rupees 10 crores under the condition that the land is cultivated for 5 years. If the land is cultivated for a lesser period, then the entity required to return the grant. Answer: in the above example, the government grant would be recognized as income only after 5 years of the cultivation. The situation would be different if the returning obligation referred to 5 years of cultivation of land is not there, and the grant would not have to be refunded. In that case, the grant would be recognized proportionately at the rate of 2 crores per year. Example: a government grant requires an entity to form an entity in a particular location for 4 years. Requires the entity to return the grant if it does not operate for if does not operate for less than 4 years. Can the entity recognize the grant as income? No, the entity can recognize the grant as income. It can recognize the grant as income only after 4 years. Disclosure, reconciliation of biological assets, opening balance, addition, closing balance, description and classification of biological assets, nature of entities, activities involving each type of biological asset, restricted assets, government grant. Which of the following is not dealt with by Ind AS 41? Accounting for biological assets, initial and measurements of biological produce harvested from entities, biological assets, processing of agriculture produce after harvesting, accounting of government grant received in respect of biological assets, processing of biological assets after harvesting. Answer is C. Example, A Limited received 5 crores of biological assets in year 1 and the condition is for 5 years. Answer, the first entry bank account debit uh, to government grant liability 5, 5. Fifth year government grant liability debit account to other income 5. If in the one example the grant is unconditional and the pro rata would have to be refunded if the condition is not met, then after 2 years the entity fails to meet the condition. Answer 1. Answer year 1 bank account debit to government grant liability 5 years 5 amount. Next entry would be government grant to debit to other income at year 1 with the amount of rupees 1. Year 2 government grant liability account debit to other income with 1 rupees. Uh, Year 3 government grant liability to bank account uh, 3 with 3 rupees. Example, accounting for bearer plant is dealt in Ind AS 2 inventory, Ind AS 16 PP, Ind AS 40 investment property, Ind AS 41 agriculture. Answer is it is dealt in Ind AS 16 PPE. Example, generally biological assets relating to agriculture produce should be measured using historical cost, net realizable value, fair value less cost to sell, or present value. The answer is fair value less cost to sell. Gain or loss on arising on initial recognition of biological asset at fair value less cost to sell and on subsequent uh, extraordinary gain or loss, revaluation surplus amount in OCI, PNL, equity. The answer is PNL. Ind AS 41 agriculture is applied to the following items except biological assets, land relating to biological assets, agriculture produce at the time of harvest, government grant relating to agriculture produce. Answer B, land relating to biological assets. This brings us to the end of this session. Please do like, subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.